In reaction to the events of the week, I have prepared this statement. I must warn you, if you're a fan of Donald Trump, this will not make you happy. So we're supposed to sit here and pretend this is normal? Donald Trump has, within his rights, asked for this election to be verified and looked into by the local courts. In all cases, the Trump team has lost. Any sane person who has a shred of a wish to preserve American democracy would then assume that Joe Biden, the apparent winner of the election, would be allowed to begin the transition process. But we're not dealing with a sane man who wishes to preserve democracy. We're dealing with Donald J. Trump, a man who, for all intents and purposes, is indeed a fascist. His team is actively blocking any attempt at a Biden transition. They have quite literally locked Joe Biden's team out of the White House. Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State, made a comment today that there will be a smooth transition of power to a second Trump term. Even if he was joking, this is terrifying. He has one of the most important jobs in the executive branch, and he's able to joke about destroying the voting process? What's even worse is if he was serious. If he was serious, we are in a lot of trouble, and we might as well say goodbye to voting. Mark Esper, the Secretary of Defense. He got fired today. He's clearly going to be replaced with a yes man, a Trump crony. As SecDef, this cannot be a good sign ahead of what is supposed to be a peaceful time in our nation. All this is happening in front of our faces, and they just want us to pretend that this is normal. This has been the Trump administration's plan for their whole 4 years, and they wanted to make it 8. Pretend what we're doing is normal. Even since the Mueller investigation, he's tried to downplay that and pretend that that was no big deal, that it was just a hoax. Same with the virus. COVID-19 disabled America. Infected millions, including me. I myself contracted it, and I'm just now getting over it. Of course, I didn't have it bad, but keep in mind, I'm an able-bodied teenager with no pre-existing conditions. Now, I've been an American for decades less than most of you. I'm rather young. But I know this is not how it is supposed to be, and it's time the rest of you join me. You know how when you were in history class as a kid, you wondered why the Italian and German people let Mussolini or Hitler take power? This is how they did it. In broad daylight, slowly but surely, to loud patriotic cheers. You can call me an alarmist, a crazy liberal snowflake, or a leftist idiot. I don't care. I'm sure in my beliefs, but maybe instead of running off to Parler, a site favored by anti-Semites and Saudi nationalists, you could look at what's happening to cause Facebook and Twitter to put disclaimers on posts. Maybe don't run away when your guy loses. Maybe look at why he got voted out and how he's reacting to it. Because if you would see the appalling degradation of our nation and its institutions that true patriots died for. The patriots he called suckers and losers. So you can complain about a Trump defeat, but just know you're complaining about the fall of a fascist. So there's my rant about all the things that have culminated my rage over the last 4 years. And all I've mentioned was about the last week. Now, this isn't the first video I wanted to put on this channel. I didn't think I'd have to put a video about America needing to combat fascism. Didn't think I'd ever get to that. The first video I wanted to do was about the Pledge of Allegiance and how we've changed it throughout the years to better suit some people and how we're turning our back on the Bill of Rights. I wanted to make a good video on how America is supposed to be, not the fact that we're about to have to defend it, possibly to our last breaths. So, I promise more lighthearted videos in the future. Sorry, this is my first one. If you enjoyed it, please do subscribe. And yeah, thanks.